Data centers are the backbone of the internet, housing the vast amount of data powering the world's biggest tech companies. But what if I told you there's a dark truth about these data centers that big tech doesn't want you to know? Stick around, because today we're uncovering the hidden realities of data centers and the massive impact they have on our world. From the social media platforms we use every day to the streaming services we can't live without, data centers are essential to our digital lives. They store everything from your photos to your private messages, and they're critical for the functioning of modern technology. But while they're an essential part of the infrastructure, there are things about them that big tech doesn't want to talk about. These aren't just places full of machines and wires, they come with a massive environmental and ethical price tag. Let's start with the environmental cost. We all know that data centers require a lot of energy to keep running. But what you might not know is that these facilities consume a huge amount of electricity, contributing to the global energy crisis. In fact, it's estimated that data centers account for about 1% of the world's energy usage. That may not sound like a lot, but let's break it down. Data centers house thousands, sometimes millions of servers. These servers run 24/7, processing all the data that fuels your favorite apps, websites, and services. And to keep these servers running, cooling systems are required to prevent them from overheating. This means that data centers consume not only energy for running the machines, but also for cooling them, often using gigawatts of power that could otherwise go towards sustainable practices. Now, the truth is, many of the world's largest tech companies like Google, Amazon, and Facebook, claim they're switching to renewable energy. But here's the catch: it's not enough. Data centers are still primarily powered by fossil fuels, especially in countries where renewable energy options aren't as viable. Big tech loves to boast about being green, but fails to tell you that their energy consumption is actually vastly unsustainable in the grand scheme of things. But it doesn't stop there. Let's talk about e-waste, another hidden problem in the world of data centers. As technology advances, servers become obsolete at an alarming rate. Every few years, data centers need to replace outdated equipment to keep up with the latest software demands. This leads to tons of electronic waste, often poorly disposed of or sent to countries with lax regulations, creating toxic environments. In fact, it's estimated that the global e-waste problem is growing by about 20% every year, and much of it comes from technology like servers, hard drives, and other hardware used in data centers. This is a massive environmental issue that's rarely addressed by the companies that generate this waste. Now let's shift gears and talk about something even more concerning: privacy. Data centers are where your personal data lives, and while most people know that companies collect your information, few realize just how much power these companies have over your digital identity. We've all heard about data breaches, and while some of the biggest tech giants are trying to improve their security, data centers remain prime targets for cyber attacks. Massive data breaches at places like Equifax, Capital One, and others have shown how easy it is for malicious actors to exploit vulnerabilities in data centers and steal sensitive information like financial records, personal messages, and even your health data. But it doesn't stop there. Big tech companies store not only your personal data, but also detailed profiles about your habits, preferences, and movements. Many data centers house not just your personal info, but the whole world's data, from the private messages you send on Facebook to your search history on Google. Big tech often claims that they're protecting your privacy, but in reality, these massive data repositories leave users vulnerable. The risk of misuse is huge, from targeted ads to more sinister uses of personal data. Behind the shiny glass buildings and high-tech servers, there's also a dark truth about labor. Running a data center takes human hands, and while the tech companies like to show off their cutting-edge technology, they often overlook the poor working conditions of those who maintain their infrastructure. Data center workers are often subject to long hours, low pay, and unsafe working environments. In some cases, workers have complained about working in extremely high temperatures, dealing with heavy machinery, and facing stressful, grueling shifts. These workers are essential to keeping everything running smoothly, but they're often treated as expendable labor. Despite the billions these companies rake in, they frequently fail to ensure fair treatment for their most valuable resource, the people who make it all possible. So why does big tech keep these truths hidden? The simple answer: profit. These companies are not just building data centers, they're building an empire of information. And with that empire comes massive influence over everything from the economy to politics to even the laws that govern the digital world. Data centers have become the nerve centers of modern capitalism. Every search, every click, every purchase feeds into the massive machine that these tech companies control. And while they tell you how much they care about the environment, data security, and workers' rights, the truth is they'd rather keep the dark side of data centers under wrap. So the next time you use a service like Facebook, Google, or Amazon, just remember, the data centers powering these platforms come with a hidden cost. They consume vast amounts of energy, generate staggering amounts of e-waste, store your most personal information, and rely on a workforce often treated poorly. It's time to hold big tech accountable and demand transparency. If we want a more sustainable and ethical future, we need to start asking the hard questions. Want to dive deeper into the realities of big tech? Subscribe to stay informed and stay woke on the issues that matter.